Hello everyone, my name is Chuck. You're watching episode 138 of Let's Plant. In the last few episodes, I've been working on these shelves, filling it up, and in the last episode, I've been placing all of these seedlings into these tiny pots, tiny planters, punnets, and into these trays, making them more organized. I gave them a bit of space under a lot of the other trays here. Gave it even this little bit of covering, polycarbonate sheet, which would protect them from excess water. And yeah, things are looking great on this front. And now I must turn my attention to my show plants because the cactus and succulent show is coming up this weekend. There's only a few more days left before the show, and I need to be sure that they are ready. So let's go do that. You might notice something different with my plants here. I have a couple of shelves, 3-tier shelves, and I have my plants on top of them. Well, some of them are. And these 2 shelves here are mainly for me to be able to place this piece of roof on top of them. Because for the next few days, well, the days leading to the show, I need to make sure that they are kept dry. They do not have to be wet, because that's what the organizer said so, and at the same time that also means that, you know, we won't be leaving any stains on the, what do you call this, the platforms, the cloth that would be used to cover the tables. And when we are going to present them on Friday, you know, we need to make sure that we do not make much mess. You will recall that I have these 2 groups of plants here. So on your right, this side, these are all of my plants that would be going into the competition. So these are my show plants, and on your left, my right, these are the plants that would be going to the display, because as competitors we are required to bring display plants in addition to our show plants. As mentioned in previous episodes, my goal for this show, for this competition, is not necessarily to win, although that would be nice, but it is more of opening the minds, opening people to the fact that there's lots and lots of echeverias, different types, different looks, different structures, different sizes, you know, all sorts of shapes, colors and stuff. And I really feel that echeverias are very underrepresented in shows, because it's mostly just cactus and, you know, the traditional types of cacti that people are familiar with, you know, mainstream. So I want to change all of that, and hopefully this would convince more people to bring their own echeveria into the show, or at least convince more people to collect echeveria, and that might be able to help increase the numbers of echeveria in future shows, which would also mean that maybe this would encourage the show organizers, the judges and stuff, to open more categories for echeveria. So yeah, that's my ultimate goal. And behind me are my show plants. If you would count them all, I think you would see 24, although one of them is out in the shade. I am giving them as much sunlight as I could possibly give them before the show, because I am really hoping to keep a lot of their colors. So far, I would say that I am doing okay, but some of them are starting to turn green. They're losing their stress colors, their winter colors, which is kind of sad. It is a losing battle, but here I am just trying to delay the inevitable. So yeah, there's a few here that you would notice are starting to turn green. This one, this Echeveria benimusume, this used to be very red on all sides, but now it's mostly green. Some of the inner leaves are still red, but yeah, I'm hoping to be able to maintain at least some of these. And if you look at my Sedum rubrotinctum aurora, they're less pink than before. They're very pale now, and yeah, a lot of greens coming up. So I'm trying to maintain that by keeping them dry, giving them a lot of sun. And yeah, generally what I'm doing here is something that we call stressing them. That's Nikki at the back. And when stressing, there's a bit of science behind it. Basically, you are trying to create an overflow or an overproduction of sugars. You're wanting to have the plant produce more sugars than they actually consume. That way, you know, all of these excess sugars would stay in the plant, and when they break down under the presence of sunlight, they produce a lot of colors. They produce the pigment anthocyanin. And anthocyanin is what you see here. which produces all of the reds, the purples, blacks, blues, and that's the color that we want. I previously made a video about it. You could check it out by checking the link down in the description, or it would pop up somewhere around here. So yeah, we have less than a week before the show. It's crunch time, and right now what I have to do is to make sure that they are, ready for the show. Well, they are ready for the show, but I have to make sure that they are clean enough. So that involves removing some of the dead leaves because they would be unsightly, and I think I would be negatively judged for that. I would also have to make sure that they are free of all insects and pests. So if I still happen to find some insects, I would have to apply some spot treatments, and hopefully they would be gone by Friday. And apart from that, of course, I could always just chop off the flowers, which I might end up doing anyway. So some of the flowers are getting spent, they're drying out now. So yeah, I guess we just have to see which ones are dry, which ones should be removed, and keep the rest of the flowers. A good example of something that I have to remove are this. So as you can see, they have already dried out. I am not sure if they are looking very unsightly, but right now some of them are. It looks weird that there are yellow flowers and then there are brown dead flowers here. So either they all have to be brown or they all have to be yellow, which means that I'll just have to pick out the dead flowers and remove them and leave the still blooming ones on. And on the flip side, we have something like this. This is my Aeonium decorum, and as you can see, it is just starting to push out flower stalks, and this is nice because hopefully they would bloom during the show. I hope we have enough time for that. The blooms are still barely coming out, and yeah, some of them are close to opening up. I'm really hopeful they bloom in the show. I've been checking the weather forecast, and it looks like it would be sunny for the rest of the week except on Friday. On Friday it might be cloudy and there's a chance of rain during the afternoon. Now, Friday is the day when we have to bring in the plants to the show. So I might not, it might not end up raining during that time. Or at least when it does rain, my plants are already in the car or already in the hall. But in any case, I still made sure to purchase this polycarbonate sheeting. That way, if anything bad happens when it starts raining, I could cover them and they do not get wet. And besides, I do not want them to get wet anyway, because once they are in the show, when they are not getting enough direct sunlight, I would not want them to be actively growing, because when they are actively growing under or in shade or in darkness, they would stretch out, and I wouldn't want that on any of my plants. Since there's still a bit of time before the show, I'm going to leave these flowers on and decide what to do with them maybe a day before Friday, on Thursday. So yeah, that's a problem for future Chuck to work on. Something else that I have to work on now are these entry cards. So I've got a bunch of them here, one for each plant, and I need to fill them out now, because if I do them on Friday, I would be ending up spending a lot of time, and I intend to do a bit of filming on Friday, show the judging process. So I need to get this out of the way before I even bring my plants. And finally, something that I have to verify now is to see if all of my plants would fit inside my car. Of course, the boot would not cut it. I would have to lay down all of the seats flat, that way I have more space. And that means that I would need to remove all of the car seats, the child seats. Okay. But before I do that, I'm just going to remove some of this junk from the back. Yeah, there looks to be some space, and maybe most of my show plants would fit just here. But I still have my display plants to go as well. So I would definitely have to pull down all of the seats and make more space. So I'll go do that off camera and I'll be back. So with the car seats out, I can finally push down these seats, makes a bit of space, and hopefully we now have enough space for all of the plants. But we still have to verify that, so let's try fitting them here. I've got rubber mat on the boot, but on the seats I might need to cover it up, so I'm thinking that maybe a bit of tarp would do. It might be a bit slippery, but if I place the plants together, the pots would be pushing onto each other and provide friction that would at least keep things stable. So let's see. This might be too big. I might have other smaller tarps in here, but this is just a trial, so let's see how much fits here. So that's enough, at least just to cover the seats. And yeah, I better get some of the plants. Now this will take me a bit of time, so I'll be back. After fiddling around and trying to get everything to fit, I think I was playing Tetris for about an hour. I got most of them in. There's a few more still outside, but I should be able to fit them in the front seat or maybe under. So for the most part, I think this would work. I just placed them in right now, but what I'll be doing on the day itself is I would be reinforcing them with some cartons and stuff. That way they would not move around too much, especially those bowls with, you know, curved bases. So I'll be making sure that, you know, I'll be doing a test and making sure that each of the pots do not shake around too violently. And I'm actually thinking of doing a test drive right now. Part of me thinks it's a bad idea, but maybe just a short distance. I know it's a bad idea, but still, maybe I should just reinforce some of the edges with some cartons like I was originally thinking. So yeah, so I've got the cartons in and I think they are stable enough. Time will tell. And one tip given to me by a friend was that I should take a photo of the arrangement before I unload them. That way when it's time to pack them up again, I know a configuration that fits. But I don't know, I'll be unloading this again, so I'll find a better arrangement, you know, place all of the larger pots inside, because right now I have them scattered all across the board. I think I should be more, I still could squeeze a bit of space here just to be a bit more efficient. But yeah, so I guess let's just do that test drive and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll be right back. Plants. We're back home. Time to check the damage. So it seems like there doesn't seem to be any damage. No damage at all. They haven't shifted that much, if any. I only saw, where was it? Just one leaf that fell off. But it was already loose anyway before I started driving. Oh yeah, let me just check right here. Yeah, it's looking good in here. Some of the bowls are slightly tilted forwards, but it's no dramas. And it would not be a problem if I swap them around, so the larger bowl should be somewhere in front. Overall, I say the mission is a success, and I have to move them back out. No, they still need a bit of sun. So I still have a few more days before the competition, and for that, I'm going to spend those days just preparing the plants, you know, cleaning them up, removing dead leaves, maybe trimming off some of the dead flowers. And yeah, just check overall, check their health and see if there are any insects and stuff, you know. We do not want to start any infestation in the show. But otherwise, I think that's it. We're pretty much ready, except for one more thing. Again, I'll have to fill all of these out. Now, I have 24 entries, 24 cards to fill. It's going to take me a while, so I'll do this offline. Otherwise, make sure to enjoy yourself in the show. If you see me, say hi. And take lots of photos, please, of my plants. And if you do take photos, please make use of the hashtag Cerriscapades CSSA 2019. That's hashtag Cerriscapades CSSA 2019. I'm going to do the same for my plants, and I'll see you in the show. And with all of that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep updated, if you want to see what happens next. And as for my next videos, I intend to bring my filming equipment on the Friday to cover the filming process, you know, just to give give everyone a sneak peek or a insider view of the whole thing behind the scenes. Because as someone who has been to the show as a visitor, as a spectator for the past few years, I've never seen the actual judging process take place. So I'm really curious about it. This would be my first time witnessing the judging process, the selection process, and I would really like to know how things are done, how things are handled, and that would all happen on the Friday. So, yep, I'll be recording on the Friday and the Saturday and Sunday as well. I think I'll be doing the full video of each entry on the Sunday, because on Saturday I think I'll be focusing on the plant sale. I'll be purchasing a few more plants to add my to collection. Well, I'm saying a few, but I'm pretty sure I'll be spending a few hundreds. So yeah, collector life. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.